देश के नाम पे सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो क्या किया दोस्तों, सब्सक्राइब करके जाना और वीडियो देखना आखिर तक। जय श्री राम।
Only spent $3 billion and we spent it well. If the Taliban didn't see reason for 20 years, where is India going to ever leave a mark upon them? But that I understand, exigencies, politics, etc. That's the reason why today you find yourself on the right side of the Modi government on this particular issue. But talking is not the same as engaging, and you have called for engagement, deeper engagement from this particular start. That's what worries me. We have a problem right now. We have some citizens. We need to talk to these people to get our citizens out. But after that, we should shut the door. General Bakshi wants to come in. Colonel RSN wants to come in. Dr. Patra, I'm going to ask you some sharp questions. Yes, General Bakshi.
अभी मजा आएगा ना भिड़ो.
I would like to ask Mr. Sudheendra Kulkarni, is India the 51st state of the United States? Are we supposed to follow suit? They have cut and run in a manner, Mr. Kulkarni, which is a military disgrace. Disgrace, you understand the term? I hope you have been watching the television. The Taliban committed in Doha that they would not let Afghan soil be used for terrorist attacks. What would you call the attack on the Kabul airport on 26th of August? 180 Afghan civilians were killed, Mr. Kulkarni. 13 American Marines were martyred and 18 more died, were wounded. That was not a terrorist attack. It did not come from the soil of Afghanistan. The Taliban coolly blamed it on the ISIS Khorasan, who did it from Nangarhar. Mr. Kulkarni, your diplomat was saying that he is trying to get Indians out of Kabul. Fair, fair. You are saying that you want to send the Indian embassy back to Kabul. Mr. Kulkarni, who looks after the security of Kabul? The Haqqani group. You know what the Haqqani group did 2 years back, Mr. Kulkarni? They attacked the Indian embassy. They killed 30 Indians, Mr. Kulkarni. I know it doesn't matter to you. You are lofty. You are beyond all this, na? We are ordinary Indians who get killed. You don't care, Mr. Kulkarni. You are wanting to send some diplomats back, reopen the embassy in Kabul, and if the Haqqani group or the ISIS Khorasan takes them hostage tomorrow, which terrorist leader will you release? Last time we were forced to release the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief. Mr. Kulkarni, can you please wake up to reality? Please listen to your soldiers. We have fought for this country, Mr. Kulkarni. We've laid our lives on the line. Why are you putting Indian lives, giving them away so cheap? You think the Taliban, by your Gandhian philosophy, will be turned? You want to spin the charkha wheel to them, Mr. Kulkarni? Please try it. We will have to come and save you. We will have to, for God's sake, come and save those Indians who get taken hostage. We will have to mourn those Indians who get killed by the ISIS Khorasan because the Taliban says, oh, we didn't do it. Have you seen the plight of the Indians? You are talking of freedom, Mr. Kulkarni, freedom from the American oppression, right? Isn't it? Mr. Kulkarni, I request you, sir, if you have eyes, have you seen the Afghans voting with their feet? Mr. Kulkarni, have you seen the Afghans voting with their feet, clinging to the tires of C-17 aircraft, falling from 10,000 feet? There was a terrorist explosion, right? And the next day the people were there wanting to get out. Have you heard the screams of the women who are being whipped, Mr. Kulkarni? Have you seen that officer who has been hung by a C-17 American helicopter and taken over Kandahar, Mr. Kulkarni? Or are you deaf? Are you blind? You will create a mess and you will expect the Indian armed forces to pay for it. You will expect the Indian people to pay for your highfalutin Gandhian principles. Spin the charkha, Mr. Kulkarni, while Indians die. We won't. We'd like to protect our people. We'd like to fight forward. We don't want to fight in Panipat. Mr. Kulkarni, don't misguide the government. Don't misguide the government with your cowardice. You know, this is a yellow streak. The Americans have shown it. We must show it. Why? The Americans are 8,000 kilometers away from Afghanistan. How far are you from Afghanistan, Mr. Kulkarni? How far is J&K away from Afghanistan, Mr. Kulkarni? $85 billion worth of weapons the Americans have left for the Taliban, Mr. Kulkarni, in the hope that it will be used against the Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians, and the Indians. And the Indians. You want to follow what the Americans have done, Mr. Kulkarni? You want to give some weapons to the Taliban? Mr. Kulkarni, listen to your soldiers. We fought for this country, man. We feel for this country. Mr. Kulkarni, we feel for our people who die. 80,000 Indians have been killed to Pakistan-sponsored terrorism, Mr. Kulkarni. They don't matter a fig. What will you do? Get Zulu category then? Huh? And leave the ordinary Indians to die at the hands of Pakistani terrorists.
Okay.
A stupid bunch of the Taliban. You are asking us to surrender? We were not taught how to surrender, Mr. Kulkarni. We were taught how to fight. How to protect our people, Mr. Kulkarni. For God's sake, just open your television screens. Don't put your face deep into that letter. There are lives involved. And we have to speak up.
Okay.
Because if we don't speak up, we would be betraying our country, our people.
Mr. Kulkarni.